Hey, welcome back into today's video. We're going to be talking about Jeffree Star's appearance on the Mom's Basement podcast with FaZe Banks, Keemstar, and Colossal's Crazy. This is going to be in reference to a survivor whose story he discredited in the podcast. We're not going to be talking about his appearance on Chris Hansen, as I did an interview with survivors of Dobby Vanity about their feelings towards that. If you want to see that video, I will put it in the description below. But we're just generally going to be talking about how I'm upset. In the clip I'm about to show you, Colossal's Crazy is talking to Jeffree Star about working with Dahvie Vanity. Again, now, if you are unfamiliar with who Dobby Vanity is, he was a MySpace musician back in the day. He had a large following, mostly preteens, and currently has over 30 sexual assault allegations that are public as we speak. Jeffree Star worked with him, stopped working with him, called him a predator, outed him, then forgive him, started working with him again. There's a whole controversy about that, and this is him explaining throughout this podcast. Now, I am going to put this whole podcast in the description for full context. I suggest that you watch it.
But yeah.
Do you think that there was enough evidence at the time? I mean, not even evidence, because like you said, you keep saying you didn't see it for yourself, but there were enough suggestions there to make you kind of hesitant, A, to work with him, and B, consider the possibility of reporting him. And do you regret not doing so now?
I regret working with them again. I didn't see anything to actually report. So when I say inappropriate behavior, I think people think it's something way more aggressive. And I never saw underage girls with him alone. You know, there is a survivor that has went on record saying, hey, Jeffree and his friends were present during me being there in these times. And 10 years ago, I don't remember that person. And I'm not going to pretend to follow a narrative of what people want me to say that I saw. You know, what's crazy to me is a lot of mothers would bring their daughters to these shows. And
so what he's doing here, he's actually talking about Damien Leonhardt, formerly known as Jessi Slaughter. They came out with their story on my channel, and since then they've told their story on other channels, and the narrative has not changed one bit. He's not saying that he did or did not witness those things. He's saying that he doesn't remember. I think that's really important. And then he shifts blame to the parents, saying that the parents brung the young girls to the concerts, dropped them off, completely shifting blame off of himself.
Another thing we talked about actually had to do with Jeffree Star, where you talked about how both he and Jay knew the relationship between you and Dobby and actually witnessed him kissing you.
Yeah, they witnessed many girls kissing him. I wasn't the only one. Dahvie was very affectionate with a lot of his fans, and he was a lot of them. And it was normal in the scene to be kind of like lovey and touchy and stuff, but like Dahvie took it quite a bit far with quite a few very young fans, and Jeffree Star and Jay witnessed it. The thing that like really blows my mind, and it was dredged up very recently, was the Katie interview where she talked about the X3 video. Jay is in that video, and I think he might even be filming. I haven't seen the video in years because it triggers the hell out of me, but it blows my mind, the ability to sit back and go, I didn't know anything, when there is video proof of you being there watching a girl being sexually assaulted. And the same goes to Jeffree Star and his tirade of tweets, which only came out after he was personally financially affected by Dahvie. But then as soon as it was all glazed over, he went right back to supporting him. And it seems like it's all about financial, whether or not Dahvie is lining your pockets, not actually whether they care about victims.
So what we have here is an eyewitness account of a survivor of Dobby Vanity saying that Jeffree Star witnessed these things. In the Mom's Basement podcast, he says that he doesn't remember this person. Now, one of the things that really struck out to me was the fact that he was involved in making fun of this person back when Dahvie and Jay was very involved in they was making videos, songs, making fun of her. There was a meme that was created, the You Done Goofed meme, that was a result of the father of Damien coming out and saying to the internet that they done goofed, that the police are watching them to stop harassing his daughter. This is a public tweet from Jeffree Star that was from 2012. It says, ha ha ha, I can't breathe. Girl, you done goofed. Obviously, him making fun of someone that he says he does not remember. Then he actively moves to discredit Damien's story in the podcast. And I was behind the scenes talking to Damien when they got news of this, when they heard Jeffree's story, and this was very triggering to them. The emotions that they were expressing, it made me very angry for them.
Can I ask you a question? Have any of these victims come forward and put you in a time and a place where you would have seen?
Yeah, one person has said that they saw me in an environment where they were alone with him and kissing, and I'm like, you guys, absolutely not. So people
again,
are so harped
we're
on this
talking about a
subject.
timeline where all this stuff happened like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and this person, you guys, it's so dark. This person, their mother dropped them off at 11 years old to hang out with rock stars and party and drink.
Man.
I wasn't around that environment. Hi, you have Tav in the room. I don't party. I kept to myself and I did my own thing.
So this is the epitome of shifting blame to the mother, victim blaming and discrediting a survivor story all in just one blow, setting a terrible example for other survivors that want to come forward and tell their stories. They're saying it was 10 years ago. It was so long ago, almost as if to say that because it was so long ago, they don't remember it. It was insignificant. It didn't matter. Terrible thing to say. There is so much hypocrisy and just general shadiness. I don't even have words for it.
So people do want to put together the parallels of this 10-year situation and me saying this stuff about James. It's a very complicated question. And why?
I know, but like it's the same scenario though, because like if James is actually a danger, right? Then this is the opportunity, like the Dahvie thing, where you can say something. You know what I mean? Or is like maybe you shouldn't have put that tweet out. Like which one is it? Like I'm sorry, Jeffree, but I have to ask.
No, and I'm 100% comfortable with that. It's going to upset a lot of people, but the truth is that someone, and right now I legally can't say who, told us a few things. And we trusted that person's opinion. And then another person said some things that was friends with that man. And it really convinced us that he was a predator.
Is this another case of what happened before with the other guy?
No, this is
Is there a possibility of that? Because, I mean, they were telling you about this guy, which turned out to be true now. Is this possible with James?
Now, what you're about to see here is Jeffree Star being extremely uncomfortable, almost like he's out of his element. And that's because what they're asking, well, this is what happened. 10 years ago, he came out with a tirade of tweets, as we know, outing Dobby Vanity for being a predator, saying that he witnessed things, that these things were 100% true and 100% illegal. And if we can recall, a year ago, he did the same thing to James Charles. They're asking him, is this not the same situation? He said that the only reason that he came out with the tweets about Dahvie was because he heard it from some people that he trusted. And then he took them back because he also heard the opposite from someone he trusted. That is the exact same thing that he's saying in this podcast that he did with James Charles. Mind you, also in this same podcast, he said that he lies all the time. So,
you didn't actually ever say flat out like you saw, like it was always in the proper context of like, listen, like I'm speaking about this from kind of the view of like the circle of people that we've been discussing this with, kind of sort of thing. Like I don't think it's similar in the sense that you flat out said, I saw some shit. You know what I mean?
Similar enough. I'm sorry. It's similar enough.
I'm lost. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's similar, but it's people that are in our community that are saying things, and I don't know if they're true or not.
But this is exactly the same thing that happened before, right?
It's actually not.
What?
So if you want, we can pause and I can go in another room and play Banks what I have on my phone, and he can determine if he would have sent the same tweet.
Clearly, obviously, it is. And how can he have this video on his phone from an alleged survivor and discredit another survivor's story, Damien? And that's the focus I want to put on this video, is the hypocrisy and overall just shadiness of Jeffree Star is on another level.
Not going to out a victim of James Charles.
Okay.
Yeah, we
If it's real, because I don't know if it's real, and I'll go in the other room and play it for you.
Subjects to the
It's
subject
so
that we've
fucked
been
because everyone wants to make me you ruined James Charles' career. No, Tati did and uploaded a 40-minute video about him, and she should have never uploaded that.
Yeah.
But can I just get this right? You do have a testimony from an alleged victim in your possession. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he does. That's what he said.
Right.
But listen, Jeffree,
Call
look,
my lawyer.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now, Jeffree, like there's other.
I don't know if you guys are seeing what I'm seeing here, but whenever anybody's talking about Jeffree and what he's done, he always brings up other people. He brings up Tati, Shane Dawson, always talking, oh, well, it was me and him don't got no reason to do this. When the question's about him, he needs to maintain things to himself when questions are directly asked towards him and not drag in all these other people. But he can't do that, and he will not do that. And what I'm seeing here is that Colossal, big props to Colossal during this, he's holding very strongly Jeffree accountable for the things that he said and done. And I think that's very, very, very good.
Can I ask a really loaded question?
Ooh, here we go.
Every guy says that
How
shit to me.
valid? Yuck. How valid?
Come on, Vanilla.
I don't even want to ask it now. How valid?
You have to.
Everything's valid, baby.
You have to.
How valid was this testimony from the victim on a scale of 1 to 10?
What do you?
In your opinion? It's a loaded question. I know.
Oh, well, it isn't a testimony. It's someone telling you certain things, and you don't have proof that what they're saying is true.
Oh, I thought you had it in your possession. That's why I asked the question.
I don't know how to explain it correctly. I have.
Let's just say he does have some sort of testimony from somebody.
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
that word,
recording.
like, testimony is very edgy.
Thanks.
I have things on. It's a scary subject.
It's a scary subject because he can't answer it with the same type of sort of charisma as when he was talking about Damien Leonhardt. Almost to say that what he has, this survivor's testimony, is somehow more valid than Damien's. Or is it just because this one is not implicating him, but James Charles? I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how the scales balance.
It's not someone saying this is an entire crime. It's just people told us some things. And I don't know till this day if they're true, because they shut up and got quiet when the whole world and CNN cared about James, Tati, Jeffree.
Well, can you at least say what they were? The allegations, can we call it that? I don't know. What do you call it? Can we say what they were? Without saying the victim's name, the alleged victim's name, the person's name, or giving references which would give it away.
It's still an allegation. I
just don't feel. I can't.
I wouldn't want you to anyway, because
Typically when I make videos, it's in a social commentary format to raise awareness towards things that need to change. I guess in this situation, it would be that Jeffree Star's words about all this is dangerous to other survivors coming and telling their story. So on one hand, he can say things like, oh, I'm all for the survivors, but you how can you say that with at the same time you're discrediting a survivor story when it pertains to you? I'm just going to leave it there. I mean, there's all kinds of things wrong with the Mom's Basement podcast with Jeffree Star. I do think Keemstar made some good points. I really commend Colossal for keeping on him. I know where he was going with that. I think we can all see where he was going with that, so that was very good. He also talks about how drama channels and channels are trying to profit off of this, while simultaneously he admits that he's lying. Let's check that out.
Jeffree Star back in the day used to tweet and lie about a bunch of shit. Not just about Jack Daniels. I also tweeted about allegedly sending band guys' nudes to him to then use for revenge, which I never did, but I did lie about it 100%. I used to say things all the time like that. So he made a tab on his website of Jeffree Star and what straight men I have hooked up with, and he put up rappers that people had insinuated. Half were true. Half were lie. All the band guys at Warped Tour that I...
So here's my question to you guys. How can someone say that they lied about tweets all the time, that they lied about this stuff, simultaneously get mad at channels when they try to hold them accountable for things that they say? You can't trust a word that this person says. For me, this isn't about beauty guru drama. For me, I've been personally invested in the Dahvie Vanity investigation. I've been talking to survivors one-on-one. This is something I'm taking very serious. If Jeffree Star's name never came up in this, I would never be talking about him in this context. But it is, and he's closely tied to the back end of this years ago, and there's things that he does need to be held accountable for, that he shifts blame onto other people, or just he doesn't like to be alone in this. So he'll say stuff like, no, it was Tati, or he'll say, oh, me and Shane don't do this or that, but he needs to stop doing that because it's all him. We're talking to him about things he's done. A self-admitted liar. You can't get mad at channels when they're attempting to hold you accountable for things that you not only that you say, but things that there's video evidence of. Like I said, my whole point is that more importantly, and now survivors' stories are important. And I'm not sure what Jeffree Star has on his phone. It sounds pretty serious. It sounds a little bit more than just a testimony. It sounds like evidence with what the words that he uses. So I'm not saying to out a survivor that wants to remain anonymous, but if this is something that is direct evidence of a crime, I'm pretty sure that you're supposed to report that. If it's an illegal activity, just like with Dahvie, you've got things to do. Either that or you're a liar. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think, because as interesting as this is, there's always something that's more interesting to me. That's right, you guessed it. I want to know what you think. So why don't you go ahead and leave your creative and interesting responses in the comment box below. Thumbs up, those likes. As always, brothers and sisters, I will see you in the next video. Whew. I tried to keep my emotions out of this, but I was very angry because, like I said, I didn't appreciate Jeffree Star, his behavior and attitude towards survivor stories. While he's got a survivor story on his phone, allegedly, it's the massive amount of hypocrisy in the situation is overwhelming. And I think you're going to hear other people talk about this as time progresses. I don't think this is the last people's heard about this situation. I do want to thank my patrons. I really appreciate you guys' support as always. I did send out a lot of packages for patron benefits today. If anybody needs a tracking code, just DM me over there. We're breaking milestones in the Patreon. Like I said, I'm fixing to start doing. I have the blog I'm going to put up around June. And I'm also writing my ebook that I'll be giving away for free, and lots of exciting things. I don't have I said everything. Updates. I'm sorry that my uploads have been spotty. I've been really super invested in doing a lot of interviews with a lot of survivors towards the Dobby Vanity investigation. I need to do my hair. My hair's screwed up. It's like natural hair's coming back here, and it's real weird. So I do want to say that if any survivors do need to reach out to me, go to Facebook. We're also trying to hit 10,000 followers on Facebook this year. We're at almost 6,000, so I really appreciate all the support over there. It's very important that anybody that's had any past experiences with Dobby Vanity to reach out, because I am in contact with an FBI agent that's working the case, and I will forward everything to him. So if you need me, you know how to get a hold of me. Because I know that you're repping. If you're not repping, you're Greg. And how you do that, all you gotta do is subscribe and notifications turn on. Be in the comment section to every single video, because I'm going to be there. Greg the Cat's going to be there, and the rest of the Rep Squad community as well. And I expect to see you there too, because this channel loves you. I guess I'm going to dye my hair blue again or something. I don't know. Let me know in the chat what color.